Jamal Crawford of the Clippers back on the program. You guys been talking about the Richard Sherman post-game comments at all in the locker room?
That didn't come up too much, honestly. And nobody wants to talk to me because they had a bunch of 49er fans, and I was only Seahawks fan, so they didn't want to have much conversation with me anyway.
Why the Seahawks?
I'm from Seattle.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew you played at Michigan.
Yeah. I went across country. It kind of throws people off, but Seattle is still in me. I'm there all summer long, and I remember my pro-am out of there. I do so many things in the community there, and I went to high school there, and that's home for me.
Oh, okay. Did you have a problem with Richard Sherman's comments, even though you're a Seahawks fan?
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't. I think Sherman's a smart guy, and I think with him, things are he wants to get whatever he wanted to get out there. And like we talked actually yesterday, and I was talking about it with him, and not even just him. I tweeted. I said, "Why all the hate for him? If he backs up what he says, is that trash talk or is it facts?" And I said, either way, him and his team are in the big game. So, I'm happy for Seattle and happy for Sherman.
What did he say yesterday?
Nothing. He just, basically was excited about going to the Super Bowl. We didn't really talk much about that. I was told him I was proud of him and the team. We had been friends for a while during the lockout seasons for those guys and us were around the same time. So we were playing basketball together a lot in the gym. Me, him, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, all those guys.
Those guys play?
Yeah, they can play. It's funny, when Cam Chancellor first guarded me, he was guarding me something tough. I'm like, man, who is this guy fouling me like this? And he's like, man, who is this guy trying to cross me over every play? So it was funny, and we became friends afterwards.
Well, those guys also want to prove that they can play in the NBA. Hey,
yeah,
I got you. I can check you. Hey, how about my crossover?
And Cam's he's a physical defender anyway, but he can really move his feet and loves to play. He has some hops. Those guys can jump out the gym, that's for sure.
Could anybody play in the NBA?
No, they all could. They all could, honestly. I'm not saying NBA level, but they could all play in open gym, and it was pretty fun because they're a lot more physical, than guys. And to them, that's not a foul. We play football. That's nothing, so it was fun.
Here's my problem with Richard Sherman, though. Not that you asked, but I've been talking about this. The choke sign, some of that stuff. Like, it's one thing to say you're the best corner, great. Because one day he'll get humbled. Everybody gets humbled in all these sports. But I don't mind his emotion because it was real. That was right after a game. If I caught you right after an emotional game, let's say you hit a game winner and it's a big game, and I put a microphone in your face, who knows what you might say?
Right. And I totally get that. And I mean, there's the loudest arena, your trip to a Super Bowl and only your third year, and emotions sometimes get the best of all of us. I think we've all had an emotional moment, playing sports. I think that's just inevitable.
Jamal Crawford of the Clippers joining us, Dan Patrick Show. But who do you know is going to talk to you? That you can almost circle it on your calendar when you play that guy, he's going to say something.
Kevin Garnett.
But he yells, right? Like, he gets right in your face, like a couple inches away, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's not just talking to you. He's talking to his teammates. He's talking to himself. He's talking to everybody. He's very, very vocal. That's for sure. But I'm a big fan of his as well, so I don't have a problem with it.
When's the last time you took it personal?
Oh, man, that was years ago. He was actually in Minnesota, and I was in Chicago, I believe. And that's before I understood, what he was doing to get his team going, to get himself going. And it's really nothing personal. He's really all about his team. Whatever team he's on at the time, that's what he's about. So it took me a while to understand that I need to get more years in the league. But before, he was in Minnesota and I was in Chicago. But
there's a certain etiquette to it, though, a certain line where you go, normally if you look at it and you go, man, what's that guy saying to me? But you have to have perspective on it?
Yeah, it just comes with experience. Guys who are older on my team, like Jalen Rose, like, oh, that's KG. It's just... That's how he is. It just comes with it because I was fresh in the league, and you're not used to that. Obviously coming from such a superstar-type player, it caught me off guard, that's for sure.
You still wish the Sonics were in Seattle? I know relocated to Oklahoma City, but...
Yeah, no question. And Seattle has some great sports fans. If you look with the Mariners over the years, having, King Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez and all those guys, Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner, and then with the Sonics, obviously, with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Detlef Schrempf, even before that, in '79 won a championship with Lenny Wilkins and Fred Brown, those guys. So, I mean, we have some great sports fans. You see it now with the Seahawks, so hopefully we can get a team back here in the next few years.
And then Durant was a Supersonic for a year.
He was, and I actually got him to come back this past summer, to play in my Pro-Am League, and it was his first time ever coming back to play in Seattle since he's left, and the city embraced him. It was a packed house. He got emotional. He had 63 points as well, so I wasn't all bad.
If I said that this guy can shoot as many times as he wants in a regulation game, who would you pick, and how many points do you think they'd score?
Oh, wow.
I mean, could Durant go for 80 like Kobe did against Toronto?
Could Durant go for 80? I think on the right night, when he's at his hottest point, everything's flowing, everything's going, he's really locked in mentally to do it. I think he could come really close if he couldn't get 80, because he's a walking mismatch. When you're 6'11", he can shoot threes like a guard and handle it like a guard. He gets fouled. He hits free throws at a high percentage. There's really only three ways to score, getting to the basket, the mid-range game, and free throws, and then threes, and he does all three, and then hitting tough shots. So there's four ways, and he does all those things exceptionally well. So when he has it going like that, he can definitely challenge it.
But who's unstoppable?
He's unstoppable.
Anybody else?
LeBron's unstoppable in a different way. I think Kobe, when healthy, is unstoppable. So there's Carmelo is unstoppable. We played him. He didn't just last week. He didn't have the best shooting game, but he still got 20 points and 26 rebounds. So there's a few guys that are just truly unstoppable.
Guys don't normally want to play with shooters. Everybody wants to play with a great point guard or a rebounder or a guy who blocks shots, and that's why I look at Carmelo. I wouldn't want to play with him if I was a shooter. If I'm a point guard, okay, but I think it's going to be hard for the Knicks to be competitive because who's going to want to go and play there? You agree?
Yeah, well, you said it. It could be that point guard. You never know, and that's why you have to have pieces. But to me, the hardest thing to do in the NBA is put the ball in the basket at the end of the day, and that's why scorers like that are so valued. Carmelo is a mismatch. Whenever you can get two people on you, that means somebody's open. Somebody's going to have an easy shot, or you're essentially making your teammates better because they won't have to take such a tough shot. And with him, I know he's gotten criticized in the past with only making out, I think, the second round once. I think that's what it is. But whatever it is, he's such a proven scorer, and that's so hard to find. Such an elite level scorer, because every defense knows you want to score the ball, and they're trying to put their best defender and where the help's going to be and all those different things. In some way, he still gets it done.
You going to have bets on the Super Bowl with your teammates?
If somebody wants to take it, for sure. I got me and Chauncey Billups. I saw him yesterday. He's really big in Denver, so we had a friendly wager yesterday with Denver and Seattle. So far, that's it.
Hey, good to visit with you again. As always, safe travels on the road trip, Jamal.
No, thank you. Thanks for always having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. Jamal Crawford, the Clippers guard.